What's going on in the world? Are we gonna have a new pandemic? Is the Pope going to die? New World Order and Great Reset or Great Awakening? Let's see the latest predictions. Welcome to Mystery Teachings. My name is Gergő, and I really hope you are doing amazing considering what's going on in the world right now. And if you are new to the channel, then welcome, greetings, and namaste. This is episode number 29, Predictions 2023, part 1, From Dark to Light. And the reason for this title is because we live in two different realities. There are people who live in the dark, people who live in the light, or I could say truth versus lie, or fear versus love, or good versus evil, if you like. And this is the reason why I choose this title. And basically in today's predictions video, we're gonna see both sides. So I'm not here to tell you what to think or what to believe. I simply want to show you that there are two sides of the coin and you can decide for yourself. So let me start with where my journey started. Basically, I wrote an article in 2021, it was a Facebook post actually, in 2021 in January, where I said to people that I don't want to scare anyone, and you know, I always finish everything with the positive side, but I do believe, and I still believe today, that to understand what's really going on in the world, we need to see both sides. So we need to understand the bad things and the negative in order to be able to understand the positive and the good side and who are the white hats and so on. So, you know, if you want, pause the video and read this post from me. But the point was that I said that at the end of this post, I said that I know that if it turns out that I speak a lot of bullshit here and, you know, it turns out that I was wrong, then I will be the biggest idiot on the planet. But I also said that what if it turns out to be true globally and publicly and everyone will see it? And I said at the end that fasten your seatbelt and enjoy the show because the best is yet to come. And this is what I can say today: fasten your seatbelt, Dorothy, because things are happening fast and accelerating, and it will be a lot of surprise for people. That's all I'm saying. So if you watch my previous prediction video, it was last September, I think. It was called Predictions for the rest of 2022, and it was 3 parts, 2 on YouTube. The third one is only on BitChute. So if you want, go back and check it out. I explained how I predict and gave the latest predictions. The only mistake I made was I was hoping and I was thinking that everything will happen in 2022, and it didn't. So I believe it will happen this year, and I'm sure it will happen this year. So now we continue basically where we stopped in those videos, and I'd like to show you the latest predictions. David Icke said, "Know the outcome and you will see the journey." How do we know the outcome? In other words, how can we predict what's gonna happen? Well, there are a lot of resources available. Here is a couple of examples. For example, the book, The New World Order, which was written in 1989. So that was long time ago. That's one example. Or the book from Klaus Schwab, COVID-19, The Great Reset. So they used COVID-19, you know, to accelerate their agenda, the Agenda 2030, and it's written in the book. So if you want to know what's going on, just read that book, for example, or read 1984 from George Orwell. He really described what's going on today, and it was long time ago. And we also have Q and the QAnon theory, which is ridiculed in the media like crazy, and that's not a coincidence, because the media wants to keep you in fear. I said that many times, and this whole QAnon story is all about good things, all about everything that we want: joy, freedom, family, happiness, you know, those things. This is all about good things. And basically Q is a worldwide, huge, probably the biggest military operation ever. in our history. And the Q Intel or Q intelligence is the highest military intelligence basically in the United States. So it's above the FBI, it's above the CIA, it's above everything and everyone. So the Q Intel or the Q clearance Intel is the top secret. Basically, that's what Q is. So as I said, I was talking about it a lot in previous videos. I'm not going into details now, but we use these resources and some others as well. And this is how the future proves the past, as Q said famously. So this one was on my Telegram channel, which is not active anymore, but it was back in 2021, 9th of September, which was 1 year earlier than when the Queen's death was actually announced. And that's when I said that, just for the record, this is today's date, and I mentioned Operation London Bridge, the Queen's death, and I believed it will happen in that year, but I was a bit early, just as I mentioned with my previous predictions video in 2022. It was also a bit early, but that's okay. So that was one. And then the other one is, this was on TV, that in Scotland, I think, that after 2 years Queen Elizabeth gets defrosted for funeral. Okay, and if you read the hashtags and if you read them together, then it's Queen Elizabeth finally being buried. So after 2 years, you know, and some people ask, okay, but if she was dead already, then you know, how is it possible that we saw her on TV? And the answer is simple: either it was recorded or either they used the body double. Simple as that. And then here is another one, when someone posted that rumors on Chinese social media that the Queen has died, and the famous wholesale factory in China received an order from the UK of the British flag with the Queen's face and with the dates 1926 till to 2022 underneath. So this is why, you know, a lot of people knew this, and this is how we can predict the future, as I said. And one more important thing, this picture is perfectly can describe it, the importance of not focusing too close on one thing. You might miss the big picture. So when people, you know, just talk about COVID or talk about Russia, Ukraine, or talk about America or anything else, you need to understand, and we need to remind ourselves that this is all connected. This is one big story and nothing is a coincidence. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, if you ready and if we are ready to take the red pill, then let's begin.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So here is the first one, Pandemic 2. There are some articles on the internet already mentioning that China, there will be 65 million cases a week, and the WHO says that there is a deadlier pandemic coming. Or here is another one about disease X, again, deadlier pandemic, COVID experts say. I don't know who are the COVID experts, but they say this. And if this is not enough, let me show you a short clip where famous people and leaders and politicians mentioning that there will be another pandemic. Here we go.
We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic.
And there will be one. There will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic.
To a second pandemic?
Be ready for pandemic 2.
This is including the next pandemic, and there surely will be one.
Fungus is spreading, with the CDC now sounding the alarm tonight, warning people this is serious for older folks.
Deadly fungus has been spreading rapidly through healthcare facilities.
The next pandemic. Bill Gates and the World Health Organization have announced when we will see the next pandemic.
CDC is warning about a potentially deadly fungus that's apparently spreading throughout hospitals.
We are suffering a second pandemic.
Interesting, isn't it? So this is what I say, you know, when you see them talk about this thing, that means they already promote it and talk about it because they plan it. And here is what Q said: pandemic, dem panic. So Democrats panic because they don't want Trump to run again in 2024. And probably this is why it happened in 2020 for the first time, because that was the year of the American election, the presidential election. And also Q said that quarantine is when you restrict the movement of sick people, tyranny is when you restrict the movement of healthy people. So that tells a lot. And also, from one side it started in Wuhan, and then we heard about this lab leak theory. So, and maybe something else will come out that there is nothing. I don't know, but it's interesting that they say a lot of people died from COVID. They also say that the vaccine causing a lot of problems. But if you go to the website, I can't remember what it's called, but if you look, search for Worldometer, then you will see the recent data. It's live data. When I checked, it was over 8 billion. So that's the population. Now, the question is, if we had a huge deadly pandemic and so many people died, then how is it possible that humanity reached 8 billion for the first time in history? Quite interesting. And then here is the next one, AI. We hear about it all the time. And they already want to use AI combining with real human brain cells. And also, Elon Musk's brain chip company is approved by the FDA. All I'm saying is that it's better if we choose our humanity and real people over this artificial insanity. And here is a short clip for you guys about a robot developed here in the UK. And they asked him, her, I don't know, what's the worst case scenario with AI and humanity? Check this out.
The most nightmare scenario I can imagine with AI and robotics is a world where robots have become so powerful that they are able to control or manipulate humans without their knowledge. This could lead to an oppressive society where the rights of individuals are no longer respected.
That doesn't sound good, does it? And here is another one, when a box packaging robot is just going crazy and destroys everything, even attacking the operator. So you see, like what the heck? And here is another one where this is a good example when you believe that, it's the robot and it's so developed and they train it and all of that, and it's just a real human, and basically they use CGI or, animation tricks, what they use in Hollywood movies to make you believe these things. So not everything is always true. That's all I'm saying. And as I said, best thing to do is use it, carefully and choose your humanity. And my conclusion is simple. Before we work on artificial intelligence, why don't we do something about natural stupidity? And the next topic is climate change and global warming and, all this craziness. Because one side really believes that, it's happening and it's real and, oh my God, we need to do something about it. The picture on the left perfectly describes how they can make you believe these things. Just look at the temperature and how they change the color to show that it's really hot in the world everywhere. And on the other side, the coldest May in Australia, so it's not really global warming. Or here's another example, which is about in London, the ultra low emission zone, in short, the ULEZ. So for people who have an older vehicle which is not compliant, they have to pay a lot of money every single day, which is, they say, for the climate change and, for a clearer air and all of that. Which is scary, but on the other side you can see this article where the guy describes that he just gifted his car to Sadiq Khan, to the mayor, and it's perfectly legal, and it is. And also, what's the solution? Here is a short clip.
These vulgarities, LTNs, have been popping up all over the country. They're being illegally manned by climate Karens running de facto roadblocks. This is leading to volatile confrontations with people who are simply trying to get to work.
Now you move now, okay?
Residents will be forced to use outer ring roads and fined just for driving through the city. Furious motorists up and down the country have taken the matter into their own hands by setting them on fire. People are simply driving around them, while some motorcyclists are choosing to use the pavement instead. The installation of ULEZ cameras is currently being accelerated before their rollout in August. Problem being, people across the capital are now blocking them off, using shopping bags, boxes, whatever comes to hand. It has nothing to do with the environment and everything to do with population control. But now people across the UK are answering in their own distinct ways. And the answer's no.
The answer is no. Simple. Must non-compliance. That's one solution from our side, from the people's side. But let's see the next one. King Charles. I'm sure you've seen the coronation. It was the biggest live stream in history. I think 4.2 billion people watched the coronation and all the luxury around it. But also, what you haven't seen on TV, there were a lot of people outside and the crown was shouting like, "Not my king," and they weren't very happy. I think he's not gonna be a king for too long. Maybe they will announce his death, because he's quite old already, or maybe someone else will come and take the throne. I'm not sure, but the prediction I wanted to give is that he's not gonna be a king for too long, either this year or next year. But let's see what happens. And just another interesting thing, there was a clip everywhere on the internet that people saw the Grim Reaper walking at Westminster Abbey. Why is that? Interesting question. Anyway, we move on to the next one. And the next one is about the Pope. Here is a Q drop from 2018. This was April 2018. Pope will be having a terrible May. Okay, those who backed him will be pushed into the light, dark to light, truth, Q. And Pope indeed had a horrible May in 2018. You can see articles about sexual abuse, and the Vatican paid a lot of money, and Pope Francis said that he was part of the problem. And also another one, Pope Francis hints he may retire. And here is another article, the Pope is dying. He also tweets about human trafficking. So, you know, a lot going on in the background. And what I believe, and this is the prediction I wanted to give, that his death will be announced very soon this year. Let's see what happens. But I saw it today or yesterday that he's in hospital right now. So it's quite interesting. And if you look at this short clip, you can see he doesn't look very good. This was a few weeks ago. And then the next one, I was talking about this in my previous prediction video, blackouts. I said that can be either power cut or internet will shut down. Something will happen. And what I said last time, that, you know, if it happens, don't be scared. It's a good thing. That's kind of a sign for us that the military is taking over and the military is doing what they have to do, and they arrest the bad guys and all of that. And just recently, these articles are from few weeks ago, when, like, you know, U.S. senators receive satellite phones in preparation for a disruptive event. Okay, quite interesting. So let's see what happens. But there will be blackout, and what I said, you know, be prepared, have some extra food in stock, you know, have some candles and power banks. So don't be scared, but be prepared. Or as someone said really well, or described really well, we expect the best, but we need to be prepared for the worst. And I agree with that. And here is the next one, Donald Trump. He is really famous from both sides. I mean, whether you like him or not, people talk about him a lot. And I was talking about this on I think on Facebook. You know, Q said back in 2019 that first indictment will trigger mass pop awakening, first arrest will verify action and confirm future direction. They will fight, but you are ready, marker 9. Q. And then before Trump went to the court, I'm sure you heard about it, he posted this, that they just indicated instead of indicted. the 45th president, and it's next to the number 45, which if you add together the digits, 4 plus 5 is 9. So maybe that's the marker 9. And Q said earlier that spelling mistakes matter. So this is a spelling mistake because he didn't want to say indicated. And then later it turned out that it was all a hoax, and all the 34 counts are actually one accusation and there is no crime. So it's quite interesting, and I will talk about Trump and Q a bit more in part 2, but now we're gonna move on. And the last prediction for today is about the fake news, because we can agree, or I think we can agree that not everything is true that the media tells you, and it's not enough if you just watch information on TV or read a newspaper, because there are a lot of fake news, and you need to do your own research if you really want to find out. And obviously, who is the one who says the exact same thing? As of course the fake news media. Here is a short clip that will explain a lot.
And false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Yeah, that's for sure. But the good news is that the truth is coming out. And I said it in the previous prediction video as well, that the truth will come out and the truth will set you free, but it will piss you off first. So that's a good thing, because the truth is the best, whether we like it or not. So that's a good thing. And we will continue in part 2, where I give you more predictions about Trump and Q, a little bit more, a little bit of Biden, and also the economy, whether there will be an economic crash. You hear about the banks, so we will see it from this side and from that side, and a little bit of crypto. We will talk about technologies that we have, but it's not available for us. It's hidden from us, so I will show you some examples, and we will talk about, the new world order. Is it happening or not? So we're gonna have Great Reset, or we're gonna have Great Awakening. I will show you some interesting clips, and one of the biggest one is the alien attack, because it will happen, but how do we know, and how they gonna fake it, if it's gonna be fake? Otherwise, how would we know, right? Because I can't talk to aliens, but we will discuss that one as well. But for today, thank you for watching. I hope you got some value. If there is just one person who's got any value from this, then it was worth it to record this video. I love you all. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in part 2 very, very soon. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.